It is now 6:33. Apologize for the tardiness, but we want to go ahead and get things started today. Welcome to this evening's school board meeting. Let's jump right into the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seymour. Can you call the roll, please?
Dr. Johnson.
Present.
Mrs. Knighton. Mr. Spielman.
Present.
Ms. Bryant.
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Present. Thank you, everyone. We'll move right into our exciting moment. 2.01 District Honors, Recognitions, Gifts, Introductions. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Smith, good evening, board, and good evening, everyone. So glad you could all join us this evening. And we have quite a few things to celebrate tonight. And we're going to kick it off with the Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award. And we will begin by catching up with someone that we had announced last month for the month of March. The student was not able to be with us in March, so we really wanted to try to catch up with that student this evening. And that student, well, let me read a little bit about the Horace Mann Award first of all, and then we'll call that student up. In order to be nominated for this award, the Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award, students must maintain an academic standard of 3.0 GPA or higher in the previous academic quarter, show respect for directors, fellow ensemble members, contest adjudicators, teachers, other students, and family, show enthusiasm and a positive attitude, display commitment to rehearsals, concerts, and personal skill development, and finally, demonstrate honesty, integrity, and have high moral character. The Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award is sponsored by the Horace Mann Educators Corporation, a business partner of Winton City Schools, and the students who are honored will receive a Chipotle gift card. So again, to catch up with this student from Winton High School, Fine Arts Student of the Month Award goes to Bella Vargas. And Bella, did you bring anyone with you this evening? Let's invite her up as well. Come on up, Mom. Glad you could join us.
I could do the LPC and I'll just do the two back to back. And then Black Seats. Yeah. Cool. I'll do the last three.
Congratulations. And now for this month's award, that is for the month of April. This student is a ninth grade student in ninth grade band and orchestra, a member of band and orchestra, with a weighted 3.8 GPA. April 2025 goes to Samari Alvarez Snow. And Samari, did you bring anyone with you this evening? We'd love to have them come up too. And then I have a really nice note I'd like to read as well about some of the great things you're doing. All right. I'd like to read this from I believe it's from the orchestra director. And this is some great things. Just for clarity, we had read, Bella, we had read yours last month, so we wanted to go make sure we pause and read Samari's now. But she's a ninth grade band student who plays the clarinet and an orchestra student who plays the bass. She's an amazing musician and a kind, caring person who is always prepared and ready to go in class. She has also studied with Barry Green, a famous bass player and retired professor from The Ohio State University. When he heard her play, he knew he wanted to work with her and basically chose her to study with him. Wow. This is a testament to her musical ability as well as her desire to keep learning and improving her skills. Congratulations on all your hard work and keep it up. Moving on this evening, we also have the opportunity to celebrate our Kiwanis Character is Key. This month is the character trait is integrity. So Mr. Bell, I believe you're here this evening. Would you please come up? Mr. Dave Bell. There he is. Students are selected for the Character is Key Integrity Award based on the following description. Integrity means showing inner strength, which is the ability to accept responsibility for your actions, doing what is right, not because it is popular or comfortable, but having the courage to take a stand when a more popular choice would be against your principles, having honor, morality, goodwill, and or sportsmanship. The Kiwanis Character is Key Integrity Award is sponsored by the Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club, a partner of Winton City Schools. The student so recognized will receive a La Rosa's gift card as a part of this award. This month, we would like to call second grade student Gilberto Martinez III. Okay, Gilberto looks like he's not able to be with us this evening, but I would love to read this just to recognize him and what he's accomplished in exhibiting this character trait of integrity. Mr. Romel Salone, assistant principal at Winton Woods Primary School, writes this. Gilberto is a wonderful second grade student. He faces any academic, peer, or personal challenge with perseverance and courage. Rather than getting upset, he takes the time to ask questions, clarify, work through things without being distracted or getting agitated or distracted or disruptive. Gilberto has been elected as our classroom president this year because he is always following the 3 pillars of excellence at Winton Woods Primary South: respectful, responsible, and trustworthy. With respect for his peers and adults, he always speaks in a way he would want to be spoken to and always ends his comments with ma'am or sir. He is always responsible by following classroom rules and expectations, and he shows his trustworthiness and integrity by doing what he says he's going to do. We are very proud of Gilberto and happy to have him as a part of our Warrior family. The Kiwanis Student of the Month Award would be up next, and we are also catching up with a student from March in this event, and I believe we have him and his family here this evening. The Kiwanis Student of the Month Award is sponsored by the Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club, again, a partner of Winton Woods City School District, and the student so recognized will receive a La Rosa's gift card as a part of this award. And we would love to catch up with and honor, from the month of March, Kiwanis Student of the Month Award, Kyle Shue. Congrats, Kyle. Do a photo op, and then we'll invite whoever you brought with you this evening to come up as well. Yeah. So glad y'all could be here. Now, at this time, we'd like to make sure we honor and recognize our Student of the Month, the Kiwanis Student of the Month for the month of April. And we would love to have join us here at the front, Kevin Piera Centino. Kevin. Kevin, I'd love to brag on you a little bit here. We've got a really nice letter that I'd like to read. It says, some people assume that Student of the Month has to be the kid with the best grades or the greatest athlete. So often our young people get overlooked for just being fantastic human beings. Kevin was nominated by his English teacher, Ms. Maria Wilson, but all the teachers echoed what a great spirit Kevin has. Ms. Wilson had this to say, Kevin is a focused student with a strong work ethic. He is mindful of his work and aware of matters outside of himself. For instance, once Kevin noticed that my live plant was looking a little weary. He suggested that I soak a banana peel in water and use the water to revive my plant. When Kevin fell a bit behind in his coursework because of some medical concerns, He effectively communicated what was happening and asked for an extra weekend to get caught up. As a way of saying thank you, he brought me homemade baked goods. Wow. He produces quality work. He is an accomplished artist and a great writer. Kevin is the type of student who makes teaching effortless. He engages in his own learning. He interacts with the teacher in a mature way. Kevin Pereira Centino is a young man. Pereira, thank you. Kevin Pereira Centino is a young man with character that outshines his bright mind. I enjoy being his teacher, and I look forward to hearing of his future success and his post-secondary chapter. Kevin's artistic talents landed his work in the high school art show. He also presented at the Night of Freedom, or Night of Excellence, on a pop-up book that he wrote in Spanish about life changes. That's very cool. At home, Kevin helps his mom take care of his younger brothers. As you can see, Kevin is just a great all-around young man and a wonderful student who leads by example. He is a model of the warrior way. That is why Kevin was selected as the April 2025 Kiwanis Student of the Month. Congrats. Yeah. Congratulations. So glad you could join us this evening. Moving on in the honors, recognitions, and introductions section, we go to the Skyline Student Athlete of the Month Award. And again, catching up with one of our friends from March, and I believe her mother's present this evening. We have the Skyline Student Athlete of the Month. I'd like to read a little bit about that just to understand what the criteria is to be nominated for this award. To be nominated for this award, students must maintain an academic standard of a 3.0 GPA or higher in the previous quarter, show respect for coaches, teammates, officials, teachers, other students, and family, show enthusiasm and a positive attitude, display commitment to practice, games, and personal skill development, demonstrate honesty and playing by the rules, and finally, have high moral character. The Skyline Student Athlete of the Month Award is sponsored by the Forest Park Skyline Chili Restaurant, a business partner of Winton City Schools, and students who are so nominated and honored received, as you might imagine, a Skyline Chili gift card. For this month, we have for March, let's catch up with March. We have Sydney Short. And just briefly, while they're taking the photo, thank you so much for being here, ma'am. Thank you. So Mom is accepting the award for Sydney this evening on behalf of Sydney, who, being the athlete that she is, has a softball game this evening. So Sydney's playing softball. Moving along to the April 2025 Skyline Student Athlete of the Month, we have an 11th grade student, a junior, who excels in cheerleading and softball and has a 4.0 GPA. Please help me welcome and acknowledge Imani Beeman. Yeah, go ahead, student, and then we'll have the parent come up. Yeah. And Imani, if you'll hang out with us for a second, we can have the parent come up as well if you want to do one more shot, Miss Jordan. Anybody else you brought with you this evening, Imani? Okay, sure. You're all welcome to come up if you'd like. We're thrilled you're here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll go ahead and read. I have some really nice things to say about you, Imani, so I'd like to read this if I could. This is from your softball coach, Coach Sheena Gray. She writes, Imani is the kind of athlete every team dreams of having. She consistently brings a positive attitude to every practice and game, uplifting those around her with her contagious laugh and boundless energy. Her respect for her coaches is evident in the way she listens, learns, and leads by example. No matter the situation, she stays motivated and encourages her teammates to do the same. Her dedication to the sport is unmatched. She gives her all every time she steps on the field, and her passion truly inspires everyone on the team. Congratulations, Amani. Could we do one more photo shoot? Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Thank you. Congrats. The next award is the Skyline Teacher of the Month Award, and this goes to a Winton Woods primary school teacher. And I'll read just a little bit about the award so the criteria is a little more clear. To be nominated for the Skyline Teacher of the Month, teachers must demonstrate the following: excellence in the classroom by using instructional practices that support high academic achievement. Motivation by encouraging and motivating students to surpass their expectations, both academically and socially. Leadership by having a positive attitude with students, parents, colleagues, and community. Creativity and imagination by demonstrating creativity in teaching in a way that inspires students to achieve and learn. Dedication by showing excellent attendance, punctuality, and overall dependability. And finally, communication by communicating effectively to their classrooms, parents, colleagues, and beyond. The Skyline Teacher of the Month Award is sponsored by the Forest Park Skyline Chili Restaurant, a business partner of Winton Woods City Schools, and teachers who are so honored receive a Skyline Chili gift certificate. I would love to call to the front for April 2025, the Skyline Teacher of the Month, Miss Melinda Anderson. And I'd also love, oh, go ahead, Ms. Jordan, please. Would also love to invite Ms. Plummer up. I believe she's in the audience. And did you bring anyone else this evening with you? Okay. Ms. Plummer, if you join us, and while she's coming up, I'll read this this note that she wrote. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. Since joining our team, Melinda Anderson has consistently demonstrated initiative, dedication, and a deep commitment to her students and their families. As our ESL teacher, she goes above and beyond to meet the diverse needs of her learners, ensuring they feel supported both academically and emotionally. She builds strong relationships with parents, often serving as a bridge between the home and school. And her proactive approach has made a meaningful impact on our school community. Her dedication to student growth and success is evident in all she does. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. And one more photo.
They got on there.
Congrats. Yeah. Thank you. We have a lot of great things going on, as you can see. We have several more, so we'll move into these as the next agenda items. We have some pretty significant artistic talent on display this evening, and we have 3 students we'd like to honor. One of them, as I understand, was able to be here this evening, and we did have a couple who were not able to attend, but we'd still like to be sure we acknowledge them because this is impressive. So this is a Cincinnati Art Museum art competition for teens across the entire region and city. And it's called the 10 by 10 Teen Art Expo. And so Winton Woods High School, Miss Harmony Main, our art teacher, one of our art teachers at the high school, entered several students into this contest. And the following fine arts students were selected out of more than 500 submissions from across the region. And they were invited to exhibit their artwork at the 10 by 10 Teen Art Expo at the Cincinnati Art Museum. So this evening, we'd love to celebrate the following 3 students. And the first is Itzik Alvarez Comparan. I don't believe he could be here this evening. Jordan Kane, who also I believe was not able to be here this evening. But hopefully this evening, present with us is Jasmine Seibert. And Jasmine, did you bring anyone with you this evening we could invite up? Yay, all right. Beautiful, thanks. So just as a side note, their work was on display at the museum's Merrick Weaver Family Commons from April 15th through the 20th, so on display at the museum for a week. And in addition, Itzuk and Jordan have also been selected to have their work published in the 7th edition of the Teleszene, which is a teen art and writing publication by the Kennedy Heights Art Center in Cincinnati. So just great accomplishment all the way around. Congrats to all three of them. We have one more student award, and we have some staff recognition to round this out this evening, but we want to make sure we celebrate the following. It is a significant accomplishment, and we have two Wentwoods High School seniors who entered the Miss Black Cincinnati Beauty Pageant for 2025. Well, it's more than, it's a whole experience. It's a competition. So it's far more than just a pageant. But we want to wish congratulations to the following students, the first of which, who I'll mention, was actually crowned Miss Black Cincinnati for 2025, and we'd love to call her to the front to be recognized, and that is Miss Joy Burton. And Joy, would you like to call anyone up that you brought with you this evening? Miss Burton. Also your agent.
Momager.
Joy, before you sit down, would you mind saying a few words? Just share a bit about your experience.
She never minds saying.
She's quick on her feet, I already know. We've had a chance to collaborate on various things this year, and if you could just share a few thoughts, Joy, we appreciate you.
So yes, I was in the Miss Black Cincinnati 2025 pageant this year, and I was actually Miss Black Teen Cincinnati in 2022. So I was just very grateful to come back and just do the adult pageant and show how much I've grown since being a young freshman to now being a Winton Woods Warrior and being a senior. And I just want to thank you all for honoring me. It really means a lot to be recognized in this community. And yeah, just thank you so much.
Thank you for those words, Joy. We're so incredibly proud of you. So congrats. Yeah. And then we'd also like to be able to share that not only was Joy crowned Miss Black Cincinnati, but Sydney Short, who was not able to be here this evening, but his mother is here, was crowned runner-up. So we have first and second place right here in the awards.
Beautiful and athletic.
You know we're going to Photoshop Sydney's face over.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we're so proud of Sydney and her accomplishment as well. So it's just amazing to have runner-up and the crown Miss Black Cincinnati right here at Wentwoods High. So pretty tremendous.
Yes.
Finally, we wrap up this evening with April is National Counseling Awareness Month, so we wanted to pause and recognize the significant impact that our guidance counselors make in the lives of our students and in our school community. So we'd love to call the following people up. If you would, just hold your applause as they all come up. We have several of them with us in attendance this evening, and we're so appreciative of everything they do for our kids and families. Ms. Sturworth, counselor for grades 7 and 8. Ms. Kim Goins, counselor for grades 9 through 10, lower house, with last names beginning in L through Z. Mr. Brad Tash, counselor for grades 11 and 12, for students whose last names begin with A through K. And finally, Ms. Christina Jarenick, counselor for upper house, grades 11 and 12, last names beginning with L through Z. Would you please join us in giving them a warm round of applause? Did y'all bring anyone with you this evening? Okay, just had to check. Counseling staff, thank you so much for what you do every day. And with that, that concludes the gifts, honors, recognitions, and introductions. President Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Denny. This is always the most exciting and probably most well-attended portion of our meeting. At this point in time, do we have any public comments? None? All right, with none being, we'll take a 5-minute recess. Once again, this recess is no longer than 5 minutes. And feel free to stay and join us, but for those of you who are departing, enjoy yourself and have a wonderful evening. We're going to go ahead and resume our meeting. Thank you for everyone who remained with us. This is going to be exciting, maybe just for me. All right. With that being said, 5.01 Winton Woods Teachers Association, WWTA. Do we have a representative with us here today? Seeing none, let's move on to.
Nope. Do we have one? Drum roll! Yay!
Good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening.
President, board members, Mr. Denny. I'm Major Thomas with OPSI, Local 271, President. And we don't have any issues to bring, but we do want to say congratulations to all of our award recipients this evening.
Wonderful. Thank you so
you.
much. That was our representative from OPSI, Ohio Association of Public School Employees. Thank you so much. Moving right along to 6.01, the waiving of the reading of the minutes. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to waive the reading of the minutes for the following meetings. The special meeting, March 29th, 2025, the regular meeting, March 31st, 2025, and the regular meeting, April 14th, 2025.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Wonderful. It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on to 6.02, the approval of the minutes as presented. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for March the 29th, March the 31st, and April the 14th as presented.
I'll second that motion.
The motion has been, it has been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Moving on to 7.01, the financial statements for Mr. Seymour. You have the floor.
Yes, Board, before you, you have the financials for the month of March. On page 1, you see the reconciliation of the banks to the funds. And on page 2, please note the year-to-date revenues for the general fund are $52.2 million. The month-to-date revenues for the general fund are at 3.8, of which 2.5 million is from the real estate advances of 500,000 and tuition of 600,000 and 2.5 million in state foundation funding. Also, the expenditures year to date are 45.9 million, which is currently approximately 3.8% under budget, or approximately 2.4 million for the first through March. Also, you have before you the list of all the fund balances as of March 31st for a total of 32.4 million, and each of the fund balances provided to you on the list.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Now let the financial statements presented be filed for audit. Next on our agenda is 8.01, investment reports. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, you for the month of March, our interest earnings were at $97,739, of which $83,158 was for the general fund, $14,581 was from the building funds. And I would also like to note that the district received $3,950 from our Fifth Third credit card rebate program. I'm supposed to report to the board the proceeds of those rebates once a year.
Thank you, Mrs. Seymour. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the investment report as presented.
I'll second that.
The motions has been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussions?
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
What do we do with the rebate money?
I'm
Does
sorry?
it go back, the rebate money go back into general funds?
I actually put the rebate money into 007, a special trust account.
Okay.
And that is used to recognize people of the district.
You just saw. Thanks. That's a great return on investment.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Board. Moving on to 8.02, resolution accepting the amounts and rates. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, you have the resolution before you to approve the amounts and rates as set by the Budget Commission. As you know, in November, you passed a resolution allowing me to use the 5-year forecast for the general fund for the budget. Then in October, I presented the budget to you only on the funds that have taxes levied, general fund, permanent improvement, and bond retirement. And the board then has to accept those rates and those amounts as set by the Budget Commission.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor for fiscal year 2025-2026 as presented.
And I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any comments or discussions?
I would like to note one thing, if I could.
Go right ahead.
Just to let people know that the rollback, you know how you have reappraisal and it rolls back the effective rate? Well, originally the bond was passed at 6.95, and the auditor, the Budget Commission now has levied that at 4.31 mils. Also, the replacement levy, which was originally passed for 9.8 mils, is now levied by the Budget Commission at 5.84. So the rollback of the effective millage does work as the appraisal values go up. I just wanted to make a note of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour.
And that's the purpose of this,
I apologize.
and that's the purpose of this,
Yes.
the understanding
Yes.
of this.
For you to,
Yes.
for us to, yes, accept the effective rates that they have established.
Ms. Bryant, go ahead.
Oh, no, that was kind of, I was looking at the rate. So you said, what was it again, it was 6.95?
Bond retirement
And now
was
it's,
passed at 6.95, and now
then
it's
that-
4.31.
okay. I was just looking, because I think that's what it was way back in 1959. The
Oh,
millage was.
bond was passed in 2015.
No, I was
Oh,
looking
I'm
at the
sorry.
millage, the
Oh,
millage
okay,
piece. Okay,
yes.
no.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
You should go back.
Didn't mean to scare him, I'm just looking at him.
Okay.
Yeah, that bond is still going.
Yeah, we are that good, no.
Man, we know how to run a district, don't we?
No, I'm looking at the millage.
Any more questions or discussions?
Nope.
Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Hi.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Moving on to reports of the superintendent. 9.01, school report. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, and good evening again, Board. So we have a very busy time of year coming up with lots of pretty fantastic things to go see and be a part of. So I'd just like to draw your attention to the attached report under 9.01. And I would start with the fact that actually tomorrow is a report card distribution. It's hard to believe we're already halfway through fourth quarter, but midterms are getting ready to head home. And speaking of home, we're entering the home stretch here toward the end of the school year and graduation and so many end of the year celebrations. But this week, actually, tomorrow night, we have the high school choir senior recognition concert. We also have the band senior recognition concert the following evening on Wednesday. And then we would finally round that out Thursday, May 1st, with the middle school, high school orchestra concert, a couple of athletic events, middle school boys, baseball, and high school girls softball. And we also have the Warrior Pantry distribution this Thursday. We've been really pleased with the number of families we've been able to walk alongside in that particular venture. Teacher Appreciation Week kicks off next week, so we're excited about that, and a lot of celebration and time spent to honor and acknowledge the contributions of our instructional staff. Moving into other days that week, we also have an intermediate school orchestra concert Tuesday, May 6th, middle school band and choir concert at 7 p.m. on Wednesday the 7th, and an intermediate band concert Thursday the 8th. And again, I could just highlight so many great things going on. You can see there on the list. I would be completely remiss if I didn't pause and say that Tuesday, May 13th is high school graduation, one of the very best nights of the entire school year. 7:30 p.m. at the Cintas Center at Xavier University. And so we're excited about that. The senior class this year is one of the biggest we've seen in decades. It's nearly 380 students, which is a really big class. Moving into mid-month, of course, we have our May board meeting on the 19th. And since the end of the school year is the 23rd, we thought we'd go ahead and highlight that. That's the last day for students. But we wrap up that month with track championships. That's the both girls and boys high school varsity track district meets would round out the end of this month. So just a lot of great things going on, and just happy to share that with you, the board, and also our public.
And Mr. Denny, I just also want to add, starting
Yes.
May 6th through the 12th is also Nurses Week. as
Sure
well.
is, yes. And we'll
I forgot.
have some
Yes.
resolutions here this evening.
I know, but it's not on our calendar. We want to appreciate them too.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Denny. Next on the agenda is 9.02, Boys and Girls Club Report. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you again, President Smith. So would be delighted at this time to ask Mr. Tommy Johns to come forward. Tommy is the director of the Boys and Girls Club of Hamilton, and just a little bit about this partnership as he's coming up. We've been really excited working with Mr. Johns, working with City of Forest Park, and our staff at the middle school. This program is specially tailored for the middle grades. And this evening, we have a chance to hear a presentation from him about what we have in store, and we're just very excited about this partnership, and would love to have you, Tommy, share your presentation, and we'll have some time for Q&A at the end of this, but just thanks for being here this evening. We're excited.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that introduction, and thanks for having us here, Mr. Denny. You've been incredible throughout this entire process. We very much appreciate you. Before I even get started at all, I have to introduce, I have a whole group of folks with me, so I'd like to introduce, and when I say your name, give a little wave. Mr. CJ, club director. He's hired on to be the club director at the Winton Woods Club. Coach Simmons, he's the club director at our Grand Club in Hamilton. Board member Samantha Wolf with U.S. Bank. And Denise Quinn, longtime board member and longtime supporter of Boys and Girls Clubs of Hamilton and all-around great community leader. And then our teen club members from our Grand Club, you guys raise your hand, give a wave. They came tonight to represent our teen program back in Hamilton. So thank you to the board for allowing me to present, and thanks for being open to this collaboration. I'm very excited about the potential of serving teens here in Winton Woods, with Forest Park. I think that there's a lot of need in Southwest Ohio to serve our youth after school effectively, which is why I moved here 2 years ago from Florida. A lot of people would say, why? That was a joke part. But why? And I'm a Midwest person originally. I think that people in the Midwest are pretty incredible. Coming back here, there's Midwest values, and the way that we have our support each other in our communities is a little bit different. And so I'm excited about this opportunity to work with you all on this initiative, important initiative to help our teens. A little bit about me. I've been with the Boys and Girls Clubs movement now for 14 years. First in the Chicago area, most recently in Southeast Florida. My dad owned a grocery store on the south side of Chicago. I didn't go to the Boys and Girls Club, but that was my Boys and Girls Club. That's where I learned working with other people, and I learned about life, and I learned to collaborate on a team. And that's what a lot of these youth and teens who we serve after school, those are some of the things that they learn. And those are, no matter what career, no matter what profession you pursue, working collaboratively with others on a team And being able to come to a resolution and understand different perspectives is a thing that you need in any profession. I am previously a elementary school teacher. I taught kindergarten, and one of the hardest things for me teaching kindergarten was at the end of the day putting kids on the bus and not knowing whether or not they were going to come back the next day, not knowing whether or not I was going to have to report abuse or neglect the next day, whether or not someone was going to give them a hug when they went home. And so from then on, I decided to work part-time for Boys and Girls Club to understand what happened after school, right? Because you guys do an exceptional job just being in your school, and I know schools do a great job of ensuring that there is equity and equal access to opportunities while kids are in school, but once they walk out the doors, it's not equitable. Every single child goes home to a different, unique situation, and that's important to recognize, right? And so my whole career is dedicated to ensuring that there's equal opportunity for youth and teens after school, just as the work that you all do during the school day. Of course, I'm supported by an incredible woman who's unable to be here tonight, but she's watching. Those of you said, I didn't know people watched us on TV from home. Well, my wife watches every city council meeting and every school board meeting that I'm ever involved in, so she's watching right now. She's just been an incredible support and probably the most volunteer hours out of anyone at Boys and Girls Club, maybe besides Miss Denise. Those two are 1 and 2 in terms of volunteer hours. But we're extremely excited to partner. The mission of Boys and Girls Clubs is to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as caring, productive, and responsible citizens. And when we say all people, all young people, that means all young people because every single child has a diverse set of needs, which all of you know, and we have to be unique in our approach to meet those needs. Our values, Coach, you want to join in with me on these values, and Mr. CJ? Ready? Our values: teamwork, memories, friendship, family, and fun. They're so much fun.
I like that.
Coach added the fun at the end. I love that.
Yeah.
Every single decision that we make as an organization is guided by these values. If it doesn't meet one of these values, we don't do it. I'm a big proponent of ensuring that you don't creep away from your mission, that you follow what the mission is that you are set and tasked to do as an organization. I'm sure that you all do that as a district as well. So before I introduce our leaders at our locations, I have to give you some context. So Boys and Girls Clubs of Hamilton has served youth and teens in Hamilton for 75 years at 2 locations. We have 2 owned assets in Hamilton, our Grand Club and our East Club. Just within the past few years, we've opened up a new location at Highland Elementary School, a school-based location for youth, and then in August, we're opening up a school-based location at Linden Elementary. And so just within the past 2 years, we've nearly or over tripled our attendance, nearly 400% increase in our registered members, and added about 24 staff members to our payroll. And so just within a couple years, we've increased our operating budget from $400,000 to $1.3 million. And what does that mean? That means that we're serving more youth and teens effectively, right? I'm going to tell you some stories as I go through this presentation about what do those resources mean in action. But our clubs are very much structured similarly to schools, where we have a club director that serves as a principal at each location. So each of these folks I'm going to introduce, our club directors, function very similarly to a principal. So Coach Simmons is our club director at our Grand Club. Montessa Morgan is our club director at our Highland Club. We have an incredible team of folks, educators, coaches, longtime club professionals. Miss Amber Sneed, her mom is a teacher in Winton Woods, and she is our club director at our East Club. Doug Ware is a 27-year club professional who's been with the organization. That amount of time is going to open up our new location at our Linden Club. And then Mr. CJ, who I introduced, who will be hired as our club director at our Winton Woods Club. And instead of read his bio, I'm going to invite Mr. CJ up to come and say just a few words about his experience with Boys and Girls Clubs and what that means, what that will mean for this community. So come on up, Mr. CJ.
Good evening, everyone. My name is CJ Owensby, as Tommy said. I've been with the Boys and Girls Club movement for 2 years now. I previously was a club director at the LeBron James Boys and Girls Club up in Akron. So I'm super duper excited to be with the Hamilton organization now. One of our Boys and Girls Club's sayings is great futures start here. And as we can see even from this meeting, that Winton Woods has so many bright futures. So I'm so excited to offer the students more resources, to really pour into them, to mentor them and really push them to their greatest potential. So I thank you guys so much, and we're super excited for this partnership, and we're definitely, I say this all the time, anticipating on this being one of the largest teen Boys and Girls Club sites in the state of Ohio. So super excited, and thank you guys again.
Thank you.
And I have to mention, Mr. CJ is also a very good dancer. We had a sneaker ball at one of our clubs this past weekend, and he can really cut it up. So that's going to go a long way in building relationships with teens. I know that. Thank you, Mr. CJ. Here's some of the data that I mentioned earlier around average daily attendance, around the number of youth that we serve, and around the number of full-time and part-time staff. As you can see, me coming to an organization that had built such a strong foundation for 75 years, it was time to serve more youth and teens in our community. One of the biggest feedback points that I received when I first moved here was the Butler County Health Assessment. You would think that in a health assessment, the data would show that families might say a number of things are impeding them from being a healthy family. The number one thing, 50% of families in Butler County said that access to affordable childcare is the most serious problem for their family's health. Think about that. We don't do any sliding scale for scholarships or anything like that. Our programs are completely free. That includes our services in the summer, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. That includes our athletic leagues. That includes our field trips. That includes everything. We never ask a family for $1. We just ask that the families utilize the service, and that will be the same way here at the Winton Woods Club as well. Quickly on to our, this is our strategic plan, ensuring that we have world-class clubs for our youth and teens, ensuring that we have life-enriching programs and caring adult mentors. And so if you think about that, it's a facility, it's programming, and it's people. You met some of our people who are involved with our youth and teens in our organization. They're exceptional. The programs that the students of the Winton Woods School District are going to receive after school with the Boys and Girls Clubs are going to be transformational. And you have an absolute beautiful building for these things to happen. I always ask, what do you do with your facility when you turn the lights off when people go home? I'm happy that we can keep the lights on. So that's a very exciting part of this for me, is to utilize your already beautiful facility to do the mentorship and programming that is life-changing. I won't go through all of this, but just to say that those three things are our strategic plan. A lot of people have a big, comprehensive, hard-to-digest plan. For us, it's facilities, it's programming, and it's people. And proud to say we made some really great progress on providing access to programming for youth and teens in Hamilton over the past few years, and this is a part of that plan as well. I personally think that there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of need for families in Southwest Ohio, and specifically in Forest Park, where Coach Simmons, I convinced Coach Simmons to move here from Florida, and he purchased a home in Forest Park, and he kept telling me about, man, there's a need. There's a lot of teens that are walking out on the street, and Principal Dixon provided me with some data around referrals that happen outside of school. And I think that we have a really great opportunity to impact those numbers and bring those referrals down. That's something that I'm very excited about, because we all know that when youth and teens don't have anything to do after school, they find something to do, right? This is our summer camp flyer. So just to summarize what I said earlier, it's not just what's going to happen after school at the Winton Woods Club. It's also the access of resources that students here are going to get access to from our larger organization as well, which includes free summer programming, which will include transportation to field trips, which will include scholarship opportunities. There's a whole myriad of things that are going to be unlocked throughout this partnership, and I'm very excited about that. And I really hope to see some of our teens from Forest Park attending our summer program this summer in Hamilton. And we have the transportation, and we can certainly get those teens involved in that free summer program, and why not start earlier and make them a part of our summer program. This is our newly renovated gym. There's a great things that they can take advantage of, right? And so this is all part of our summer program. They'll take advantage of the gym. These are some of our teens here. The people who know me know that they can't get away from me without seeing pictures of our teens and hearing stories about our incredible staff. Had a huge teen dance at Coach Simmons' club where the teens saw a need from families that were devastated by the hurricanes, and they wanted to do a fundraiser to help them. And so they did a dance. It was $5 a teen that came. They wanted to make a donation, and then they donated all of those funds to the American Red Cross. And so it's not just a place where they go and hang out. It's not just a place where they go and play video games. It's a place where they're introduced to leadership opportunities, where they are introduced to community service, where they are connected to their peers, where they are better connected to the community at large. And so that is a huge part of this as well, especially after meeting with the city. In addition to you all, the city is very excited to get those teens after school into businesses and into career exploration opportunities and into service opportunities. That's all part of this program too. In fact, one of our teens was selected as, we're doing awards, so this fits in great to all of your incredible awards tonight. Not only did we start a teen program within the past few years at Boys and Girls Clubs of Hamilton, we were selected as the Youth of the Year for the state of Ohio. And so Demarion was selected out of every single teen, every organization in the state to represent the state as our ambassador. He's met with Governor Husted, Lieutenant Governor Husted, with Governor DeWine, has attended and given legislative briefings on the impact of Boys and Girls Clubs of Hamilton. And so empowering teen voice into advocacy into all spaces is an important part of this. In his time as Youth of the Year, he kicked off and led Hamilton Pride, and also spoke at Corn Stand Jam, which is a mental health and suicide prevention program and concert that we do in Hamilton. And so we pour into youth who grow into incredible tweens who go out into the community and do special things in your community. In fact, there's a recent study that we did with OU where it saw that for every dollar invested in Boys and Girls Clubs, those communities realize a $32.18 economic return on the investment over the life of that gift. And so what does that mean? Higher paying jobs. Those kids are going to come back here. If they when they go to college, parents can go back to college. Parents can work that second job because they're not worried about childcare, what their child is doing. And so it's going to be extremely impactful for not just the youth at the school, but in your community. Specifically into this program, these are projections because first and foremost, this needs to be a teen-led and school-led program. Principal Dixon's been absolutely incredible to work with and his entire team at the school, so thank you for that. We're projecting a 2:30 to 6 after school, Monday through Friday, community engagement trips, and like I said, we have a summer program that will make sure that we have spots for teens from Forest Park and Winton Woods to attend our summer program as well. We always maintain a 1-to-15 ratio. And I think that the school is really designed beautifully to accommodate that type of programming and mentorship. As I mentioned, our staffing is very similar structure to a school. We have a club director who functions as a principal, a program director who is similar to an assistant principal, and we call youth development professionals who are part-time staff who work as teachers, who implement curriculum-based programming. The curriculum-based programming is a combination of things, whether it's from Boys and Girls Clubs of America's program library or whether that's a locally developed program. Currently, this summer we'll implement a manufacturing program that we do in partnership with Durana Hybrid and the Hamilton Chamber, where our teens go on 8 field trips during the summer and they learn everything from hydroelectric power to wiring systems for Amazon and everything in between. That's a locally developed program. And so these are the types of things that those youth development professionals will implement in our after-school program. Every single one of our programs is focused on academic success, good character and citizenship, and healthy lifestyles. It might range from tutoring and homework help to an intramural basketball league to a service program and everything in between. As an adult, I think sometimes we design stuff for teens and we wrap it up in a nice box and we give it to them and we say, here you go. And the teens open it up and they're like, I didn't even ask for this in the first place. Why'd you give this to me? So as I mentioned, Mr. CJ's leadership, working with Principal Dixon at the school and working with the teens is going to be an important part of this, is a evolving programmatic structure, and it's going to meet the needs of your families because it's going to be driven by your families and your teens. as well as your school leadership. Again, I mentioned a lot of these things, but tutoring, field trips, we're going to feed them after school, career exploration, leadership, it's going to connect them to scholarship opportunities. Those are all the things that are going to come to your students because of this partnership. And I'll leave you with this. This is the wall, this is a mural in our Grand Club. And this room before wasn't painted to be a teen room, it was just white walls, plain walls. So we partnered with an existing nonprofit in Hamilton called Inspiration Studios. And that's a nonprofit for adults with developmental disabilities who come in. It's a day program where they do painting. And they came in and volunteered and led this mural effort with our teens. So it was a lot of things don't get me anymore, like emotionally after 14 years with Boys and Girls Clubs, because I've seen a lot. This one got me because it was a two-way street of learning, right? It was our teens who were learning about what it meant to learn from an adult with developmental disabilities. It was those adults from Inspiration Studios who got to see that teens who look different than them are not scary and that they can work together on something and accomplish something great, right? It was a very unifying program for not just our club, but our city. And those are the types of initiatives that you're gonna see with this program. One last thing, those hands are actually the hands of our teens. So it was pretty emotional for me to hear some of our teens say, like, this is the first time that I've mixed paint or seen paint as my own skin pigment. Every single hand is that teen's hand, and on that hand is something that's important to them, whether it's being a biracial youth, whether it's Boys and Girls Club, whether it's acting, whether it's the arts, whether it's music, and that mural is going to live forever in our teen program at our Grand Club. And so that type of leadership, connection to the community, and understanding of other people is a huge, huge part of the programming that we'll offer here after school with Winton Woods. So I'd love to open it up for any questions. I'm sure I tried to stay within my time, but Mr. Denny, I told him to knock on the desk if I needed to stop or whatever, but I could go all day because it's something that I'm passionate about and care a lot about, and I think that there's nothing more important than empowering youth and teens to be successful, because the work that we do after school is going to empower them to be successful students during the school day. And I think that you're going to see gains in students because of this as well.
First of all, thank you. Marvelous presentation. Thank you so much. I'm just, well, a couple things. First thing was I was shocked that CJ didn't give us one joke, because they said you're a Christian comedian. That's what it said on the screen. You gave us one joke. And then they came around and said you can dance. You didn't bust one move. We feel cheated, but we're not going to hold it against you. We'll just have to come.
You later.
Yeah, we'll just have to come and watch you in your element. And the second thing is, it's wonderful to know that at least two people that's watching this live stream right now, Miss Knight and your wife. I mean, your presentation couldn't have been better. But no, honestly, just the things that we've researched and we've heard, and the things that you presented here coincide with the things that we're trying to give to our students, the opportunities we're trying to give to our students. We're always looking for ways to engage our students and give them the opportunities that they need to be successful in life and be great citizens. So we appreciate you coming to us with this opportunity. We appreciate the City of Forest Park to even entertain this idea as well, because us three putting our hands together and putting them all in the pocket makes something very, very special. Mm-hmm. And that is something that we couldn't put a price tag on. So definitely looking forward to a long partnership with you guys as well in the City of Forest Park.
Thank you.
No, I agree. I'm just in awe and so excited for the opportunities for our communities and for our Warrior students. And thank you, all of you, for coming in for the youth. I'm sure nobody wants to be up at 7:30 at a school after leaving school, right? So thank you for coming, but thank you. This is great. I'm at a loss for words, which, if you guys know me, that's really odd.
You're a great presenter.
I just can't wait. I'm just super excited. I just can't wait. When is it coming?
We're excited as well.
Yes.
You're a great presenter because your passion comes out so good. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like I said, when I stepped away from education, I've been with Boys and Girls Clubs ever since. I started as a youth development professional, working part-time. Okay. I've done every single position in the organization since then, and every time I just get more opportunity to impact more lives, and that's the most important thing. I think if all of us are at the table here in this room, we just want to make sure that the next generation is set up to be even more successful than our generation. That's the thing that we can do best, right? And so it's a pretty aspirational goal, but I think we're going to make some big impacts here in Winton Woods.
I just wanted to, I appreciate, just like my colleagues, the presentation, and again, like Mr. Spillman said, your passion does come through. I have a plethora of notes, but I also have a couple of questions.
Okay.
The first one was, how will students be selected to be a part of the program, and how can they join? Who will they need to contact to join? Will it be Principal Dixon? Will it be advertised? How will they know?
Yep, so thanks for that question. My hope is that we can get Mr. CJ some space in the school even before the school year ends, and that he can start becoming a part of the school culture. So Mr. CJ won't just come in at 2:30 when the program starts. He's going to be in the lunchroom, meeting kids, working with school staff, being a part of that culture and understanding what it means to be a warrior, right? And so there's going to be a couple ways that we look at selection, right? One of our policies is when we enroll a child, a parent or guardian must come to a parent orientation. And so Mr. CJ will work on recruitment and get some parent orientation scheduled for the back to school program prior to the school year starting. Additionally, we'll work very closely with Principal Dixon and his team on referrals and prioritize those referrals. If he comes in and says, this child has a lot going on and they're unstable at home, and can we get them in the program? No, they're not going to be waitlisted. We're going to get them in right away because we know that no one knows the youth better than the school employees and the teachers, right? Now, we are going to make sure that ensure that we're safe as we expand services in the school. We know that we can probably serve 100 and 130 at some point, but that builds in groups of 15, and that builds in processes with the school, and that ensures safety. So we're going to maintain a strict ratio of 1 to 15 while we build out capacity. So there might be a time when some teens are waitlisted. It's just ensuring that we have the appropriate staff in place to ensure safety. That's our top priority. I tell our staff all the time, you can't have fun unless you're safe.
What's the age group? What's the age range?
Yep. So, and we've talked a little bit with Principal Dixon. I think this is an evolving thing. There's a unique situation where the middle school is attached to the high school, right? That's not the normal thing in communities that I've seen, and I think it gives an interesting opportunity to where we prioritize middle school because that was the request. But as we go along in this, we can see, are there freshmen, are there sophomores that also would be a good fit for this program as well, to just walk over next door and expand those services. Again, our goal as a partner and is to ensure that we're meeting the needs of the school and the families. And we're going to start with what you guys asked us to do, which is in middle school.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
So speaking of which, and for those of you guys have heard me with my morning walks and my wonderful warriors who decide to hang out at the park, have you seen just across in Hamilton a decrease in absenteeism for students who are part of this program?
Yeah. So one of my aspirational goals in my life is we'll start to have conversations about public after school, just like we have public school. I don't ever want a family to have to worry about where do I fit on the sliding scale to pay for these things. And so, but one of the to answer that question, the thing that we do ask families to do is utilize the service a minimum 3 days a week. And so sometimes a child will come to the program at our after school program, and Coach Simmons can attest to this, to say, I wasn't in school today, but I didn't want to miss Boys and Girls Club. And so while absenteeism isn't a metric that we currently measure, we do know that in a way it provides wraparound services, right? We have an incredible teacher. Her name is Miss Jean. She also happens to be Coach Simmons' wife, who's a teacher at our Grand Club. And for every month, I do have this metric. For every month that a child is in the tutoring program, they gain a minimum 3.5 months progress in terms of their academics. So that is something that we are extremely proud of. And to me, teens vote with their feet, right? And so they don't have to. they have an option to choose. No one's going to follow up with them to see if they come after school, but we know that with mentors like Mr. CJ, with the other mentors that we're going to put into place, that you will see a decrease because they'll want to go to Boys and Girls Club because Mr. CJ might be their person, right? For every child, there's an adult that's their person, whether that's a teacher, whether I've seen it firsthand with Principal Dixon. So many kids I know look forward to dapping him up in the hallway and saying hi to him. That's probably why they went to school that day. And we hope Mr. CJ becomes that person for a lot of the kids at the school where they're like, man, I need to go to school today because I need to talk to Mr. CJ about what's going on. And we know that will happen organically.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Anybody else?
Yeah, just briefly, Tommy, I again want to thank you for being here this evening. When I had the opportunity to first meet you, I could tell how serious you were about your work and how passionate you are, and it just shines through in what you do. So, appreciate you bringing members of your team with you this evening. Our mission is ensuring all students achieve their highest potential, which you touched on during this presentation. I'm not even sure if you knew that, but there's synergy here, and we just appreciate the chance to partner with you on this. We see great things too. Our kids deserve the best. They deserve the opportunities like this, and I just see a lot of great things coming from this. So thank you. And if I could, I'd like to ask. Well, we also have two other special guests here this evening. Mr. Dixon's here. If you'd come up, Mr. Dixon, the principal at the middle school. And also Miss Dixon's here as well, so thank you for being here as well. But if you have any words to share with us this evening.
Sure thing. Can I start by just sharing a little bit of data with you? Is that okay? Can I approach the board? So I know that Mr. Tommy John has really fed your elephant, right? Which is like the passion and the spirit of what we're doing and why we're doing it. So I want to feed the rider, which is the logical part, right? So in front of you, I did a 3-year analysis of some data, and I want to show and highlight 2 specific areas that I believe that the Boys and Girls Club will really help us to improve upon. The first one on the top, you'll see that there's a referral count by outdoor location. So to give you a little bit of insight on that, outdoor location is typically a to and from school issue. So like if there's a dismissal and then there's an altercation or a disorderly conduct or something like that as you're going to the bus, that counts as like an outdoor location, okay? And then off campus specifically refers to something that does not happen on our campus. It could happen at a school event, but typically that's somebody who's posting something late at night or they get into something in the community and then it spills into our school. And I know, because I live in this community, I've been here for 2 years, and I leave the school at all hours of the night, and my kids go to school here, that when I leave and I see kids, they're everywhere. They're at the park, they're in front of Kroger's, they're at Papa John's, they're at Subway, and they're almost always unattended, right? They're craving a place to belong, they're craving a place to go that's safe because they want that social connection, but we haven't been able to offer it. And so if you add all of those up over the 3 years, we're talking about an average of over 50 office discipline referrals a year for students who I believe if they had a safe place, I don't know why that's doing that, and a robust program would be avoiding this. They would be avoiding negative consequences. They would have a safe place, and it would allow them to really grow. So I just want to say deeply, first, thank you to Superintendent Denny because he's listened, right? Like we were outside, we were doing some levy work, not on work hours, just so you know, it was non-work hours. And him and I, when he was the business manager, we had these long conversations about the need for a community center inside of Forest Park for our youth. And Forest Park and Superintendent Denny were able to partner together, and not only do we have our youth center, we have something that is a nationally renowned program that has shown data to grow kids and keep kids safe, and it's in our own buildings. Like that's the powerful part there. They don't have to go anywhere. They get to stay, and they get to enjoy all of our facilities, and we can truly say that we are providing wraparound services. So that's my thank you to the board, that's my thank you to Superintendent Denny, and also I want to say thank you to CJ, thank you to Tommy John, because working with them has been a dream, and I really feel like when we launch this thing, it's going to be a game changer for the entire community. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions I can answer?
Good. Thank
Nope.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, no.
Thank you, sir.
Where can we get a Boys and Girls T-shirt?
Boys and Girls Club's T-shirt.
Yes.
We'll make it happen.
All right.
That's the right answer.
I'll put that in the budget.
Okay.
There you go. Line item, that one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Once again, thank you for everybody who contributed to the Boys and Girls Club report. Superintendent Denny, thank you so much. Moving on to our next item agenda is 9.03, Student Achievement Report. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Hey, thank you again, Mr. Smith. 9.03 is the Student Achievement Report. This is an item that was requested by the board to receive some information in reference to. So I'd like to call Mr. Jeremy Day, Executive Director of Business Affairs, who also had a hand in helping bring the Boys and Girls Club of Hamilton to our district and to our middle school. But he's going to give a report on wellness team and our different wellness initiatives that are going on in the district. So, Mr. Day.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me get to my slides here real quick, although I do like that last slide of you. Thank you, Tommy, for that. That was a lot better than my slides. So we're going to go over the wellness team report for this year, again, just to teach you some things about the wellness team and how we go about operating this team throughout the course of the year. So the purpose of it is to consider and study all aspects of overall health, nutrition, wellness realities for Winton City Schools, the student, staff policies and practices, and we would make recommendations to administration and district leadership that align current conditions to best practice, research-based model wellness, outcomes such as Action for Healthy Kids standards. As far as wellness teams go, districts are required to have a wellness policy. Districts are required to review that policy annually. We did that in December at our December meeting. So we do that typically annually around that time frame. Districts are also required to have a wellness plan. We're required to review and revise that plan every 3 years. We are at the end of that 3-year plan right now. Okay, so what I had linked in this document, if you looked at that link, it is almost a finished product. It's just about there. Okay. And then districts are required to publicly post a wellness plan. We display ours on our website. So we've got 5 different priorities here. If you've got the electronic version, that hyperlink does go to the draft for the next 3-year plan. Priority 1 is advanced safe routes to school and active transportation. Priority 2 is operating the Nutrition is the Mission wellness bus. Priority 3 is build programs that promote health and wellness for school staff. 4 is developing partnerships with community healthcare providers, and priority 5 is connecting students with community organizations to promote health and wellness. So a little bit more detail in priority 1, that's the advanced safe routes to school program. Some things about that over the last 3 years, some of these things are definitely ongoing, and there's some things that we're kind of adding into the new 3-year plan. One thing that's been very ongoing with this has been the Safe Routes to School initiative. That's much, much higher than us. It's very important to us, but it's a higher realm than us. We're just part of it. I know there's going to be some work beginning on Winton Road on the bridge, widening that in 2026. So that's coming pretty soon. We all know the need. We see kids walking up and down Winton Road every day. There's no sidewalk there. We kind of cringe every time we see that. So that is what that bridge widening is for. There is a lot of work above us as far as what that route looks like and where it connects to. It's a long time coming. But projects like that do take a lot of time to get done. So they are doing that project in 2026. Going to work on improving crosswalk and entrance lights, particularly at South Campus entry. There's not too many lights. There's no lights there. So trying to increase that. There are a decent amount of walkers there. There really are. And if it's a nice day out, even more. So it needs to be looked at. I'm going to reach out to the village and see what we can do. Are there grants available, things of that nature. The easy solutions, which they do every year, repainting, things like that, that's kind of basic. I kind of want to go higher than that. We need lights, something. Kind of like what we see out from North Campus. And I know that's kind of a busy intersection. It's not in the middle of a neighborhood, but it's still, cars nonetheless, and kids need to be, they're not being walked to school by parents for the most part at that age. The first and second graders typically are. If they see the crossing guard out there, the parents will kind of let them go at the corner type thing. I still think we need to make it a safer environment though, personally. And then also developing activities that promote walking and bike riding to school. That's something that Mr. Denny had done previous to me as well, is getting some plans together for that, and I would like to continue that, whether that being events or not so much fundraising, but maybe it's more along the lines of a health and wellness, miles tracking, things like that they can build in. Priority 2, we've got Operation Nutrition is the Mission Wellness Bus. We're continually looking to increase the number of summer lunches that we're providing. We are going to be adding another food van here to the fleet to help serve meals. Hopefully that'll be here this summer. We don't really have a time frame yet. It has been purchased. We're currently looking for a location on the west side of Forest Park to serve. We used to serve over in Quail, in the Quail apartments. That has since stopped. There's a kind of a number of issues. It's not great for a large bus to be there, and it wasn't really an ideal location. So we're kind of looking for a west side of Forest Park location to serve. And last summer we served over 4,000 lunches. That was not including summer school. So that's just at the community building, just at the different locations with the wellness bus. Priority 3, we have build programs to promote health and wellness for school staff. So we're looking for different ways to push out mental health awareness with modern health. So that's something we've come up with in the last couple of years that we partner with as far as a mental health initiative. It has gotten more increase in usage from year 1 to year 2. Mrs. Starkey gave me kind of the numbers on that and some graphs. It is increasing. We think that just more of a push of information and seeing if we can kind of almost get some testimonials, and honestly, that probably would help things too. But I'm going to be working with Nancy on that. Enacting mandatory yearly physicals was something that was big that we continue to do. Looking to increase biometric screenings yearly. That one, they kind of almost counteract each other a little bit. What we found the last couple years, because our biometric screenings have actually decreased from last year to this year, and we think a lot of it is because of the yearly physicals. So we mandate that. We already, your physician probably already has like blood tests, ordered for that. So a lot of people would say, why do we do that twice? So that kind of has decreased that a little bit. So we're working on how to increase that, get that number back up. Here recently we had something called goat yoga, which does not mean greatest of all time yoga. It actually literally was goats that they walk on people. And every school got, I think, to take part in it. I did not. I would have. I was just busy. I was busy at every single location. It was amazing. But yeah, so goats got to walk on you. I think it was actually more comic relief than it was stretching. Staff loved it. They absolutely loved it. They really did. And like I said, I think laughter is the best medicine sometimes, and it definitely provided that. The gentleman that we contracted to do this, hopefully he'll continue to do this in the future. He actually kind of wanted to get away from weekday events, actually. He's very busy on the weekends doing this. He's busy almost every weekend doing this, at churches, at festivals, at things like that. So doing this during the week, it was just taking a lot of time off his on his plate. So hopefully we can talk to him again, because every school did utilize it, and every school really did enjoy it. Priority 4, we had developing partnerships with community health providers. We've implemented the school-based health center at South Campus. That was part of the last 3-year plan to get that implemented. That has been done and has been working very, very well. We're working to solidify a partnership with a school-based health center at the Early Childhood Central Campus. We're in talks with that now. We've got a space for it. It's just working out logistics and spacing and money and timing on their end. And then priority 5, connecting students with community organizations to promote health and wellness. So working out details on how to bring the Boys and Girls Club to our 7th and 8th graders next school year. So that's working out well so far to get that part done. Looking to expand the cadet program throughout the school year. So currently we have a cadet program that does run in the summertime. That's from Forest Park Fire Department, Police Department. One of the largest proponents of that is Chief Jermaine Hill. He helps with that, and we've helped coordinate that with him over the last couple of years. It's only been in the summertime the last couple of years. They pretty much get a few classrooms at South Campus during the summer. That runs all summer. Last year they had 10 students. This year they already have registered up to 29. And they're working on making it more of a year-long situation and not just in the summertime. That program kind of focuses on civil service and just different facets of government. That was a lot of information thrown at you in a few minutes. Is there any questions that you may have?
You always got questions.
What did you say?
Go ahead, Dr.
Yes,
Johnson.
I always have questions.
What do you have?
Inquiring.
Yeah, inquiring minds. I was looking at like slide number, well, I don't know what slide it was, priority 3, where you were talking about the,
Greatest of all time. Go ahead.
well, not the goat yoga, because
first
I've
part.
seen that on
The
Shark
first part.
Tank, as a matter of fact, some years ago, and I
Yeah.
thought, nobody's ever going to do that. And now it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Because nobody invested on it on Shark Tank. But anyway, I'm glad to see that it's bringing happiness and smiles. But where you were talking about to enact the mandatory yearly physicals, I was wondering, was there a way to tie that in with our community health center that we have now in Green Hills? Because anybody can come to that community health center.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking that might be a way to kind of, like beef that up, and that would spark some more interest in us being able to open this one here in this building.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my other question is, like the center in Green Hills, will that be like the Mercy Health Center or something like that would partner with us to do the one here at the ECC? That was
Right
two
now,
of
we've
my
been in
questions.
contract with the Healthcare Connections
Yeah.
for this location as well,
Okay,
for
okay.
ECCC. That's who we've been in contact
Okay.
with. I had a question about that over the last year as far as could we get our student physicals through this, through Healthcare Connections. That's almost not going to work because of our contract with Mercy Health for the athletic trainers and things like that. But for staff, I don't see why not. They are only in session in the building when students are in session. So summertime, they're not around. But during the school year, teachers, they'll have a planning bell every day. So I don't see why not. I don't see why it couldn't happen. Yeah, it's a good question.
Okay, thank you.
The cadet program,
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of it. Is it for cadets of what type?
It's high school kids
Okay.
who could be interested in going into some sort of realm of civil service.
Okay.
So they often have, it's run by the Forest Park Police and Fire. That's who kind of run the situation there. Officer Wilson's one of the biggest proponents of that. Chief Hill is as well. But they also have facets of government too. So it's not only if you're wanting to just be a firefighter or be a police officer, it's not just that. It is that. But they also go through all realms of just different civil service is what it is.
Okay.
But it gives them, not unlike the Boys and Girls Club, it gives an outlet for parents that way too, and for kids. So during the summer months, they've got that outlet, and that's beneficially impacting their lives and potentially future employment and future goals that way too.
And with it being at South Campus, does that make it more difficult as opposed to North Campus?
Hasn't seemed to. I never got with Chief Hill to see why North Campus didn't work. I don't know. I didn't ask that. Chief Hill came to me a couple years ago asking if he could have some space. I said yes, and there you go. I don't know that. I don't have a reason why it wouldn't be at North.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Curious. Thank you.
Question.
Yeah,
I do have a
I can ask him actually.
So in terms of wellness, and I know that we have our community kind of school-based health centers and they're open during the school year, is there any discussion in expanding that not only during the school year, but also in the summer? Because we know health doesn't stop when the school year stops. And there are students have needs in the summer, and sometimes that's harder for them to access care at locations, maybe for transportation, to have it still be open in the summertime at our location.
I know one of the biggest benefits for it being open when students are there, so they don't have to miss school to
Correct.
go to an appointment. My son's going to be one of them tomorrow. He's going for an eye exam tomorrow, so he's just going out of class and going down. So that's helpful on that end. Mr. Denny, you may know more on the.
Yeah, I can speak to that, Ms. Bryant. Right now, the health center on campus follows the student schedule. So there's not right now the opportunity in their planning and funding model to open it up for outside, like breaks and summer break and whatnot. So, yeah. I've asked that question several times too, but the other districts that they serve are the same. It's not like it's a difference in service model.
Oh, correct, yeah, and I'm sure a lot of them are, but when we think about meeting the needs of the community at large, and if it's open up to the community, summer would be one of those things. I'll just keep asking and advocating for it.
No, hopefully we can at some
Yes.
point open it, because that's the idea, is to invite the community into
Right.
the schools to have that service available and more readily.
The physician's assistant down at South Campus, he's asked me quite a few times over the last few years, what they could do to drum up, I guess, staff support more, not staff support, but more staff interest, because they're not there when kids aren't there. So he almost wants to have more reasons. Hey, they're asking for this. Kids aren't here, but they're asking for this service. Can we please provide it? So I think he's looking for ammunition to be able to do that same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
actually,
I think just thinking about the needs of the community, that is a need to have comprehensive care that follows the school system. Like, I understand the breaks, but the summer is such a nice long time, and it's enjoyable, I'm sure, for the students, but health doesn't stop. And so they have needs and things that come up in the summer and injuries and whatever, and we want to be able to address those.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question? I think.
You think one more question?
I think if Brendan shut it down, do we have any stats to show how many students have been served through our community health center?
Yes.
So that we can kind of get a feel for how that works. I know when we were initially talking about it, we were looking at it helping with absenteeism, like instead of students taking the day off, they can come to school, and then if they get the sniffles, they can go down there. But do you have any information like that?
I do, and it's not in this slide.
But
That's
I mean,
a great question, but I do have it. We actually go over it with them monthly.
Yeah, that'd be good follow.
We meet monthly
Okay.
with Healthcare Connection. There's a district team and a steering committee for that, and we actually review that every meeting. So I think
Good.
we just contact Healthcare Connection. They can get us that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Thank
track
you.
it.
That'll be good to know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can easily get it.
One of the biggest pieces is the parent signing the consent form.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the first step, is making sure we have that consent in place. That has actually gone up
Right.
from last year to this year.
Right.
And we'll
Do you
continue
take
to push
everybody's
that.
insurance and like that, or if they are on choice care or whatever, they take whatever insurance,
They-
whatever they have?
They will. The
Right.
nicest part to me, the most beneficial part about this particular healthcare provider is they will take Medicare, Medicaid as well.
Oh,
So
great.
they will never turn anyone away. And it's part of the way they're funded and the way their business model works, is they will see anyone.
Okay.
And that's what truly is powerful, I think, for the families and the
Oh,
students
absolutely.
and community and community members in our region here.
Yeah,
Another reason to have it all year round.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's fantastic
Yeah,
that
it's powerful.
they take any insurance and care. So that is powerful.
Yeah, my conversation today, they asked me about the insurance. I gave it to them. But I think if I would have said I do not have or whatever, I think it just would have been a different line of questions
Okay.
but it wouldn't have been not providing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it was actually a nice connection between school nurses and them, because they, the school nurses, they do every, I think it's second grade, fifth grade, they do their eye exams, and that's how they caught on to my little guy, who didn't get the exam, which isn't shocking because everybody wears glasses in my family, so it's not like I wasn't shocked. But it was kind of cool because the nurses got to them, they got to me. I mean, the process worked
Right.
the way we were wanting it to work. We also bus kids from North Campus down to South Campus as well on Wednesdays. A lot of that's yearly physical type situations. That's been a little bit harder to get going. It has increased since last year. It definitely has been. We had an uptick with that. Definitely in the beginning of the year, it was pretty much loaded every Wednesday. That's hard fitting into the high school schedule, in the middle school schedule, because they run totally different schedules than what the elementary does. But we're trying to work through that as well, since we don't have anything at that campus.
They aim at warrior time, which is right around lunch, midday, so that the student's not missing any content instruction. It's usually for planned things like vaccinations and wellness checks and things of that nature.
And other
that are
physicals.
planned and more routine, rather than illness per se and things like that.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank
problem.
you.
Good, Dr. Johnson.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Day.
Problem.
All right, next on the agenda is 9.04. Mr. Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks again, President Smith, and Mr. Day, if you could just remain at the podium. Thank you, sir. This is a report on the facilities of the district and just things that are happening right now that the board would be good for the board to be apprised of. So, Mr. Day, if you could go ahead and take it away.
Good evening. I hope everybody's doing okay tonight. Nice talking to you guys. Thanks for having me. A couple things about the central office renovation. That's really the only two things tonight. We are going to be going to bid in the paper tomorrow for the parking lot aspect of that job. We should be going to bid on it tomorrow. Bid opening will be May 14th. The recommendation to the award May 15th, and then we'd be going to you all on the 19th. okay, as far as vendor and contractor for that. We are expecting it to take about 2 months. Although this site, it's not really, even if it were to take longer based on weather or whatever, it's not going to impede anything with the school. It's totally separate. It wouldn't really be much of a problem. So I think we're all excited about that. We're getting going with that. The other exciting news is we've commissioned SHP to start the renovation planning and design for the actual interior of central office. We feel confident about being able to go to bid for that in October, November, December of this calendar year to get started with that. So they're planning that as we speak now. And as soon as I find out more details on that and design concepts and things like that, I'll be bringing it to you, of course. I haven't seen it yet, but they just got started working on that here recently. So, yep.
Where are we at with the entrance on Waycross? Did the city okay that, or?
Yes, there's a few more permits we need to go through. We got through Planning Commission, that wasn't a problem. We need to get the right-of-way permit, we need to get the stormwater permit, we're doing that now. A lot of that actually is the contractor, so we're not delayed at all. A lot of it's the contractor. We have the permits in hand, we just have to get the contractor in place to be able to do it. We've been working lock and step with Chris Anderson at Forest Park to make sure we're getting all of our T's crossed and I's dotted, so we don't get delayed at all. It's been working out really, really well. He's been a great help to get some of these questions answered like right now so we don't get hung up later on. Yes.
And then either Mr. Denny or Mr. Day, the renovation, once we get that space renovated, all the CO will be located there. Nobody else will be anywhere else in the district, well, respectfully, anywhere else.
All of CO, yes. There'll be space over there for, I believe, 21 or 22 personnel.
Yes.
So we'll have maybe a couple extra seats just to have the extra space, but community building will still have to remain operating separate. There's so many staff down there.
Yeah.
I wish we could all be in one.
That's what I said,
one home,
respectfully. Yeah, they can
but
remain
just
over there.
central office, yeah.
And then the trailers
that
will
can be
go bye-bye.
decommissioned.
Okay.
The lease can be discontinued.
Yes.
That was my number one question.
When they get loaded on trailers and head down the road, we won't be sad. Not overly sad.
Love it.
But,
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Day.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Denny.
Thank you.
Moving on to 9.05, first read, revised board policies 5136. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you again, Mr. Smith. This item is a standalone.
Was that for me? Oh, I just announced the next thing. This is wonderful. Y'all can stay.
This is a standalone item in the agenda just to make sure we're drawing maximum attention to it. This is required under Ohio Revised Code for all districts in the state of Ohio, all 609 of them. This particular one is revised policy 5136, which is personal communications devices, but it would be more commonly known as the cell phone plan, the cell phone policy. And board, you would have before you, this is just a first read. Second read and approval would be requested next month in May. And the deadline imposed by the state is June 30th of this year. So the state has required all districts to have something like this in place by the end of this school year. But board, this is personal communications devices. And for anyone that's tuning in, essentially after a lot of engagement, a lot of surveys, a lot of meetings, a lot of stakeholder communication, we've basically arrived at no cell phones during the school day. So no personal communications devices during the school day. Devices should be turned off, put away, stowed out of sight, and also deactivated. So it's not in silent mode, it's actually turned off. And that's grades pre-K all the way up through 12. They are allowed to be used on the way to school. They're allowed to be used fully on the way home from school. They're fine on the bus, but during the school day, they will be actually prohibited. And we do believe that what's coming is another state law that's going to be passed, and the governor's already hinted at this and actually done a presentation about it to the state that would basically be consistent with this. So our policy, we believe, is going to be consistent with what ultimately is what Ohio is very likely, it appears, to do. They're following suit for Virginia, Florida, California, New York. They're all states that have already passed similar laws to this. And it comes on the heels of just really being concerned about kids. The mental health impact of some of this is pretty alarming. It's just something that we're closely monitoring, and this will be heavily communicated after the board does approve this. So That is presented to you for your first read. Mr. Smith, 9.05, and board, and then we would request your consideration for that and approval at the next meeting.
Sounds good. All right, thank you, Mr. Denny. Moving on to 9.06, first read, new and revised board policy. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks again, Mr. Smith. So, board, you would have before you the second half of the winter update. This is the first read for that second half. I believe it's about 12 to 13 policies. You do have the overview there to help guide that review on included as well. But we just advise, again, first read, would request your consideration and approval in the May timeframe, May 19th at our next regular meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Denny. Board, as always, we're going to keep cranking these things out, so be mindful of that. It's the first read. Second read will be at our next meeting and approval. All right, moving on to 10.01, personnel schedule. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Board, you have before you schedules A through E. That's A, B, C, D, and E. And the recommendation, board, would be to approve the personnel schedules as presented.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the personnel schedules as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any discussions, comments, or concerns?
Just a question. There are one-year contracts and 5-year contract renewals. Is that due to their length of time?
Yes, yes, tenure of
Okay.
service in the
I
district.
thought it was, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just have one question. On the Schedule C, we have a person that's for a replacement at the end of Schedule C. Why weren't they on Schedule B?
Schedule
Is
C
it-
support
It's change in
staff.
employment, but why didn't that person show? Is that because they're coming into a new position?
It is a new position, and I believe, let me double check B.
At the end of Schedule C.
Yeah.
I was just wondering why it wasn't on Schedule B. I mean, I don't know.
It's actually because Schedule B is for certificated or licensed staff, and that individual, that position does not require a license or certification.
Even though
although
they have a.
he does
it's
have
not
a certification.
required.
It's not
I
required.
see, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Position versus personnel.
Right, okay.
And it
I
is
know
a
that they had it. That's why I was like, well, how come it's not on here?
Right. It's a
Very
good
good.
question.
Okay. Right, that was it for me.
Anyone else?
I asked the same thing.
You know what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, understood.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Board, a motion is in order.
Oh, it's in
I'm sorry, we've been motioned and seconded. Mr. Seymour, can you call the roll?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Moving on to 10.02, agreement between Winwood City School District Board of Education and the Boys and Girls Club of Hamilton. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. 10.02, Board, and thank you for 10.01. 10.02 is the agreement between Winwood City Schools Board of Education and the Boys and Girls Club of Hamilton. This is the MOU, or Memorandum of Understanding, that outlines the relationship in broad strokes between the two organizations and our intent to deliver high-quality programming to the kids, specifically at Winwood's Middle School. Although certainly, as Mr. Johns pointed out, there may be possibility for other expansions and other types of increased service over time. But Board, you would have before you that MOU. Essentially, this would be a request for your consideration to approve this so that we can allocate the funds to support the program at Winwood's Middle School.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to move we approve the agreement between the Winwood City School District Board of Education and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hamilton as presented.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion or questions?
Can't wait for it to start.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Same.
Great discussion. Mr. Seymour, can you call the roll?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. noticed that was from their presentation when it said fun. Everybody was excited. Okay, I guess I'm the only one excited on this board. That passes. There we go. There we go. I knew I had some backup. Thank you for not letting me down, boys and girls club. Love you. That vote passes unanimously. Wonderfully. Thank you, board. Appreciate that. Moving on to 10.03. Resolution School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, May 5th, 2025. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks again, Mr. Smith, and Boys and Girls Club reps and everyone. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're excited.
Safe travels.
Yeah. And Board, thank you for your consideration and favorable approval of that item. 10.03, Board, is a resolution for National School Bus Driver Appreciation Day. I would just point out that Ohio and the national observance differ. The national observance has already occurred, so we wanted to acknowledge that. Yes, we can celebrate them multiple times, but the upcoming one and the one that this proclamation is specifically in relation to is May 5th, so next week is the Ohio observance. We're very thankful to our bus drivers, and this recommended action, Board, would be to approve the resolution, School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, May 5th, 2025, as presented.
Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to move that we approve the resolution, School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, May 5th, 2025, as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Is it motion and seconded? Do we have any discussion?
I was going to say thank you for all that they do.
Do we want to read the
Yeah, go ahead.
proclamation, School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, official proclamation, April 22nd, 2025, National Observance, and May 5th, 2025, Ohio Observance. Whereas the Winton Woods City School District Board of Education recognizes the critical and important role that bus drivers are entrusted with on a daily basis, and whereas the Winton Woods City School District Board of Education commends the dedication of these drivers who provide safe transportation for the students and staff members of our district, and whereas bus drivers demonstrate a positive role model to reinforce the importance of education and support for family, schools, and community, and whereas the Winton Woods City School District Board of Education, as a stakeholder in the educational development of these children, expresses its appreciation and support for the drivers and staff of the Winton Woods Transportation Department, and whereas the Winton Woods City School District Board of Education acknowledges the April 22nd, 2025 National Observance of the School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, now therefore be it resolved that the Winton Woods City School District Board of Education proclaims May 5th, 2025 to be a day of sincere appreciation for the important role of the staff of the transportation of our school district, adopted this 28th day of April 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Spielman. Anyone else? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Board. Moving on to 10.04, Resolution School Nutrition Employee Week, May 5th through the 9th, 2025. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks again, Mr. Smith. So this resolution, Board, is to acknowledge our school nutrition employees. This would include everyone that works at the school level as well as the district level, including child nutrition office staff and food service or child nutrition director, Mr. Mark Doctor, as well. So, Board, the recommended action would be to acknowledge these staff members, their contribution to our district, and favorably consider and approve the resolution, School Nutrition Employee Week, May 5th through 9th, 2025, as presented.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Denny. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for the School Nutrition Week, May the 5th through the 9th, 2025, as presented.
Second?
Oh, go ahead.
Bill, thank you very much. It's been motioned and seconded. Do we have any questions or discussion?
I'd like to read the resolution. School Nutrition Employee Week Official Proclamation. Whereas nutritious meals at school are an essential part of the school day, and whereas the staff of the district's School Meals and Nutrition Department are committed to providing healthful, nutritious meals to the district's children, and whereas the men and women who prepare and serve school meals help nurture our children through their daily interaction with support, and whereas the week of May 5th, 2025 is School Nutrition Employee Week. Now therefore be it resolved that Winton City School District expresses its deep appreciation to these valuable employees and commends their good work on behalf of the children. Adopted this 28th day of April 2025.
Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson. Anyone else? Thank you, Board. Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Next on the agenda is 10.05, Resolution National School Nurse Day, May 7th, 2025. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Smith. So this resolution, Board, would be to acknowledge the significant contribution our school nurses make to the district, to the lives of our students, families, and schools and community. May 7th is National School Nurse Day, and pursuant to, as Ms. Bryant pointed out, we want to make sure we acknowledge the contribution of these great professionals. So the recommended action, Board, would be to approve this resolution, National School Nurse Day, May 7th, 2025, as presented.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for National School Nurses Day, May 7th, 2025, as presented.
I'll second that.
It has been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion?
No, I'd like to read the resolution. Whereas it is proper to acknowledge school nurses for their professional contribution to encourage and support a healthy environment and education for our nation's youth and for the students and staff of the Winton City School District. And whereas school nurses provide a vital role to the institution of public education through their unique expertise for managing primary and preventive care. And whereas school nurses are diligent, motivated, caring professionals who influence and promote a healthy school environment that is safe and conducive to learning. Be it therefore resolved this 28th day of May 2025 that the Winton Woods City School District Board of Education hereby recognizes the continued effort, commitment, and resolve of school nurses to make a difference and proclaims May 7, 2025 as National School Nurse Day in the Winton Woods City School District. Adopted this 28th day, April 2025.
Anyone else? Thank you, Board. Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Next on the agenda is 10.06, Resolution Teacher Appreciation Week, May 5th through the 9th, 2025. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Board, you should have before you resolution for National Teacher Appreciation Week. This is in sincere appreciation, acknowledgement of the nearly 300 instructional professionals we have in the district and the amazing job that they do day in and day out to help our students achieve and grow and help make our district a great place to learn and work. So, Board, the recommended action would be to approve the resolution Teacher Appreciation Week, May 5th through 9th, 2025, as presented.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to move that we approve the resolution Teacher Appreciation Week, May 5th to 9th, 2025, as presented.
I'll second that.
It has been motioned and seconded. Is there any questions or discussion?
I'll read the resolution. This is the resolution for National Teachers Appreciation Week, May the 5th through the 9th, 2025. Whereas the week of May 5th through the 9th, 2025 is National Teacher Appreciation Week, and whereas public schools have been the gateway to success for every generation of Americans, and whereas a strong, effective system of public school education for all children and youth is essential to our democratic system of government, and whereas public schools are at work shaping the future for a whole new generation of young Americans who will take their places in education, business, industry, and government. And whereas no other profession has so great an opportunity to make a lasting, life-changing impact on the lives of so many, and whereas teachers empower, inform, teach, enlighten, share, enrich, create, motivate, mentor, and touch the minds of those students they are entrusted with. And whereas it is appropriate for Winton City School District to pay tribute to the teaching profession as a whole and to recognize teachers for their dedication and for their commitment to challenge and educate the youth of our schools and community. Therefore, Be it resolved that the Winton Woods City School Board of Education formally designates the week of May 5th through the 9th, 2025 as National Teacher Appreciation Week, adopted this 28th day of April 2025.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Anyone else? Mr. Seymour, can you call the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Mrs. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Board. Moving on to 10.07, second read, new rescind and revised board policy. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you again, Mr. Smith. Board, you should have before you 13 policies. This is from the first half of the winter update for the 24-25 school year. Board, this would be the second read of these policies, so at this time, the recommended action would be to approve the second read, new, rescind, and revised board policies as presented.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny. Board, a motion is in order. I'll make a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the second read, new and rescind and revised board policies as presented.
And I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Thank you so much. Are there any questions or discussion?
The discussion, there's a lot of policies.
That is an accurate statement.
Yes.
An understatement.
A lot of revisions. I do want to just look at just making sure that the public knows that when we look at these policies and some of the things that are changing, some of them are changing because they have to change for our policies, and some are what's happening across the state. So for them to just really be aware of what's happening. I know Dr. Johnson, in your legislative update, you will tell us all the new things coming. So when you see the agenda with all of these policies, it is because, one, we have to revise them, and two, there's some other things happening, so to be aware. It's a lot
Anyone
of
else?
light reading.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Board. Moving on to 11.01, the legislative report. Dr. Johnson, you have the floor.
I have the floor. Okay. The legislative report has been updated to board docs. It is 33 pages long, but here are the items that I would like to highlight. The bills introduced was Senate Bill 7, which was substance abuse instruction. It regards instruction for public and chartered non-public school students and harmful effects of substance use. And this was reported with no testimony, and all testimony with a possible vote will happen at the next hearing. Senate Bill 34, which is historical documents. This was to enact Historical Educational Display Act regarding the display of certain historical documents in public schools. Specifically, school boards must select one of 9 listed documents to display in each classroom, such as the United States Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, or the Mayflower Compact. The original bill mandated that the document was clearly visible and accompanied a description of its historical significance. This bill was continued with possible substitutions of the hearing, all of the testimonies. The latest substitution bill will change the name of the measure to Displaying of Founding Documents of Historical Significance Act, and clarify that the districts are not required to post document displays if they do not receive significant donations to cover the cost. So stay tuned. We don't know what's going to happen with that. They want it to happen, who's going to fund it, and all of that. So there's going to be some more discussion on that. Senate Bill 158, which is a cell phone use, hot topic. Our board policy is 5136. Mr. Denny just talked about it, the personal communication devices. This particular bill is to generally prohibit student cellular telephone use in public schools, and it has been continued, and this was the first hearing with the sponsored and proponent testimony, but it is to continue. And once their policy comes down, ours might change, but maybe not, depending on what, we've adopted or whatever. So it was our first read, so they're still in committee. So even if we adopt that one, we might have to go back and tweak it based on what the state comes out with. House Bill 57, which was school policies, regards school policies on administration of overdose reversal drugs. Now, this has been continued with no testimony at the next hearing. This will be the third opponent testimony will be heard. So we'll just have to wait and see where that goes with that particular House bill. House Bill 62, which is higher education, regards the College Credit Plus program. Specifically, what they were focusing on this particular bill, we have a policy for College Credit Plus, but specifically what this bill was talking about would require colleges to utilize open source materials where possible and textbooks were used, and the cost would be split between the college and the school district. Now, the cost to the districts when a course is delivered online would be reduced, but it was stated that the higher education, that the bill could result in a fewer CCP courses available to students. This discussion was continued with the possibility of being amended. It will be at the third hearing with opponent testimony. We don't know that that's true. We'll have to wait and see, but it is something that was discussed. And House Bill 191, which was teacher salaries, and this was talked about at the last meeting, is still being continued to require that all school districts and educational service centers that the teachers be paid a salary of at least $50,000. And this bill was reported last month, and it will continue for more testimony. I believe our school district is right in line with that, so we're very competitive with salaries. But there are some of the smaller school districts that may not be, so this is why they're looking at that. The last two that I highlighted here was the House Committee hearing, Ways and Means Committee, and they gave sponsor testimony on the bill, which according to the Legislative Service Commission requires the current expense fixed sum levies, and the measure would prohibit school districts from shifting the purpose of unvoted property tax millage in a way that would increase the district's tax revenue. And this was House Bill 129, school district millage, to limit the ability of school districts to reallocate unvoted property tax millage and to include certain property and school district income taxes to the calculation of the school district's effective millage floor. This bill was continued to hear additional sponsor testimony, so we'll hear more about this a little bit later. The other one was House Bill 186, and while it was not the sole solution needed to reform the Ohio property tax system, it was stated to be a critical piece of the puzzle in that House Bill 186, the school district revenue is to authorize a reduction in school district property taxes effective by a millage floor that would limit increases in such taxes according to the inflation and to require a corresponding adjustment in school funding formula. Again, this bill is going to be continued and we'll hear proponent testimony. That's all I have for a highlight. Again, the 33 pages of the full legislative report has been uploaded to Board Docs, as Mrs. Bryant said, for a little light reading.
Dr. Johnson, thank you so much for this comprehensive report. One thing I want the public to look at, they're so busy up there. Concerns over proposed library fund repeal and how, of course, as we all know, we have a wonderful new library in the city of Forest Park. So just pay attention to how things are going. So as the House in Columbus is trying to change the way things are funded, impacts our local communities. And as we know, reading is fundamental. We want to make sure that our communities have the resources they need. So call your representatives, write them letters, stay awake, and making sure that we know what's happening with the people that we elect in these offices. That's it. I have nothing else.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Appreciate your diligence in keeping us aware of what's going on in the legislature. Next on the agenda is 11.02, the Great Oaks Report, and that was sent by our representative, former board member Jeff Birdie. He did mention that the Spotlight on Students report included 3 Winton students. The first one is Ben Walsh. Scarlet Oaks Digital Arts and Design placed 9th in television and video production at the Skills USA State Competition. So Tony, that may be somebody that's gonna work with you later. You never know. Also, we have, and I apologize if I mispronounced the name, I think it's Adian Eckerly. And that'll be Scarlet Oaks Heavy Equipment Operations and Engineering placed 6th in the heavy equipment at the Skills USA State Competition. And lastly, we have Brian Gonzalez Rodriguez, Scarlet Oaks Digital Arts and Design placed 9th in television and video production at the Skills USA State Competition. Tony, you got two on the way. I love it. Our Warriors are definitely doing major things at the Oaks, and once again, we would like to thank our representative, former board member Jeff Birdie, for his continued diligence in representing Winton Woods at the Oaks. Next is 12.01, change in location for the board meeting. Superintendent or Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yeah, I can, go ahead, Randy.
You had just said that you would like to change the room of certain board meetings, same location, same date, same everything, but except in this room, we'll have it in the conference room of the principal here at this building.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Seymour, for that explanation. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I'd like to move that we change the room of the following meetings on the childhood conference room from stage room 184 of the Early Childhood Central Campus, May 12th, June 9th, July 14th, August 11th, September 8th, October 13th, and December 1st, all 2025.
I'll second that.
That's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion? Once again, though, will be our work sessions are moving locations. Same building, same time, same great agenda, just a different room in this here building. No further comments. Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you very much, board. Next, we'll move into 13.01, comments from the board, superintendent, and members. Mr. Seymour, we'll start with you.
Well, Dr. Johnson briefly touched on it, school funding, and as you know, school funding continues to be in a flux. And we went from full fair share funding formula with cost-based increase to the governor's proposal, which took some of the cost-based increases out, to the most recent House version 96, which pretty much eliminates the fair share of school funding formula and diverts some of the funds elsewhere. So we got to continue to keep our focus on fair share school funding. As you know, you passed that resolution, and Mr. Denny forwarded it to the proper individuals, and we got to continue to remind our legislators they need to do fair share funding for Ohio schools. I have no idea where this will end up. It now goes to Senate, it goes to conference, goes back to the governor, who knows. But we have sure taken a long, hard toll from going from fair share school funding to where we're at today.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Mr. Spielman, go right ahead.
Oh, thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate all those who received awards tonight, and I would like to thank all of our teachers and staff for their hard work and dedication day in and day out to teaching our students, and we're at the point where the school year is winding down. Teaching is your love language. One of the principles that I've adopted to try and live by states, life and death are in the power of the tongue. If we speak to a child negatively over and over, it will adversely impact them and their learning. If I speak positive, encouraging words to a child, building them up, they will believe they are skilled and can do anything they set their mind to. We have all seen this in kids, right? They do not even need to hear the words directly from me. They can hear what I said from someone else, and it will still impact them. With these comments as groundwork, I'd like to speak to our upcoming 2025 graduating seniors. Be successful at whatever you pursue, whether it's college, further schooling, training, or beginning a job. Be a hard worker. Be a thoughtful young man or woman that takes responsibility in your life. Be full of hard work, diligence, and character, always making strong decisions with the long term in mind. Your character chooses right over wrong, good over evil, and justice over injustice. You will be brave and full of courage. You will apply yourself fully to the task in front of you and complete it. You will not give up. You will not give in. You will not settle for less than. Your humble heart always looks out for good for others and in others. You are young men and women of truth, sincerity, and especially critical thinking skills, always following your dream and always pursuing your destiny. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spielman. Dr. Johnson, go right ahead.
All right. Kind of to reiterate some of the thank yous that Mr. Spielman said, but I also want to add Terry Morgan to that, who came in from OSBA, and she came into us on a Saturday, and conducted a special board retreat, sharing much needed historical information on the appropriate board protocols and actions, and we appreciate that training that we came together to get. I want to also thank you and acknowledge the honorees and the people who were recognized in the gifts and introductions, and another special thank you to our counselors. Their job has become increasingly harder each year that goes by, so we really appreciate what they do for our students in the district. To the teachers, the coaches, the staff, and the administrators that pour into our students scholarship, excellence, and leadership. Thank you so much. I always mention this until the deadline comes, and I will always do this because I have taught at a college for 34 years, and I see people wait till the last minute. But I want to mention once again, if your child is even thinking about going to college, then you need to get the information now and complete the FAFSA. That's the free application for federal student aid. And this application form can apply aid, and it's up through June the 30th, 2025. The cutoff, July the 1st, is for the next year. Awards made until funds are depleted. So even if you're not trying to get a loan, if you're trying to get a grant, if you're trying to get a scholarship, they still require that you fill out the FAFSA. So I always kind of beat that horse until the last day for you to apply, because I've seen so many people miss that deadline and sit at my desk and say, now what can I do? And I'm like, I can't hardly help you, financially I can't help you. The FAFSA, if your child is thinking about it, if they're not thinking about it, they're on the border or on the fence, just have them fill it out. It'll be worth it. If they don't use it, they don't use it. If they do, it's filled out. So there are several other noteworthy events. Mr. Denny had a whole list of things that were listed in the report for school activities, recognitions, awards, concerts. The first 3 weeks in May are just jam-packed with everything. So pay attention to that school calendar. Also, I believe Mr. Denny said that we'll be having volunteers to make the graduation ribbons again on May the 3rd. That's a Saturday from 10 to 1. And I didn't see this listed, and I may have overlooked it, but the honors dinner for the senior awards night is on Friday, May the 9th, starting at 4:30 up at the high school. So that's a very important event for our seniors. It's a milestone, and it's honoring our honors diploma students. And graduation is on Tuesday, May the 13th at the Centos Center at 7:30, and we're excited for our seniors. And it should be noted that this year we have 66 students who will receive honors diplomas and wear the white, designated white robes. And it is a high honor to be able to do that. We do credit checks along the way in the 9th grade, in the 10th grade, and in the 11th grade. So if you're just on the border of, missing one class or something like that, talk to your counselor so that you can get that class and you too can wear that white robe for the honors diploma. When I came onto the board, we had 16 that we recognized, which were considered superintendent scholars, but all of them were not necessarily the Ohio Department of Education honors. So now all of these are, all 66. And that's really impressive. That's some impressive growth from, 2014 until now. So I think that we want to recognize them. Also like to continue to thank the district leadership team, Superintendent Denny, the directors of teaching and learning, the executive team, Mr. Seymour and his team that assist him in the treasurer's office, the teachers, the paraprofessionals, the cafeteria workers, everyone that has to do with our students, the parents, the stakeholders, for keeping our district operating, for volunteering as we come to toward the close of this school calendar year. We want to thank you. Even while thank you doesn't seem like it's enough, we want you to know that we do appreciate what you do for us, what you do for our students. We couldn't do what we do without the support that you give us. So thank you, and go Warriors.
Ms. Bryant.
How do you follow either one of them? I tell you, thank you so much, President Smith. Actually, I'd like to echo the sentiments in terms of congratulations to all of those who were honored today at today's meeting. I also want to say thank you to the City of Forest Park for their continued support and collaboration in making the Boys and Girls Club a reality. I'm super excited that that's happening. They matched with a financial match, which they didn't really have to, right? So the fact that they're committed to our students in the Warrior way. In addition to that, I want to say thank you to Mr. Birdie for your continued efforts in making sure that our wonderful students at the Oaks get recognized and that we have an up-to-date information about what's happening there as students get ready to get into the workforce. What else? I don't know, you took my thing about May 3rd, so we already know about the volunteer opportunity on May 3rd, so thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, for that. I think that's it. I don't know if there's anything else to say other than go Warriors, and congratulations on the upcoming seniors. This wonderful big class. It's going to be exciting. So that's it.
Superintendent Denny.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. So I have 4 items, and not to dwell on too much because we've already acknowledged so much, especially the honors for this evening. It was really inspiring in the Boys and Girls Club. But I want to make sure I say thank you to the staff. We've highlighted several key groups tonight, but it really does take an entire team to pilot this ship called our school system. So I want to say thank you to our executive team, the leadership, the commitment, the time, and the talent that they provide. Also to the principals, the assistant principals, and what they do day in and day out. But certainly I want to pause and acknowledge the teachers. I had a chance to visit with some of our early childhood staff this morning, and I just acknowledged to them that I can't do what you do. I can do some things, but I have so much respect for what they do day in and day out with such young children. Mm-hmm. But that applies for all of our teachers. What they do, I think anyone that knows a teacher knows they put in 12 months of work in 10 months, if not more. And so we just thank them for that. The child nutrition staff, the bus drivers, they are the first person that a child sees every day and the last person that many children see every day, and that matters. And then finally, our guidance counselors and then our school nurses and what they do. That's so much in that other duties as assigned category. So just a big thank you to our staff. I'm sure I left someone out. It's not intentional, but just very grateful for what they do every day. On a more somber note, I do want to highlight House Bill 145. It was something that we've been tracking. Dr. Johnson, it may not have come up on other people's radar just yet, but it lengthens the school year if it's passed. So it's just one that we're tracking really closely. That could present some interesting challenges to almost any district in the state, and we might be no different. So just something to be mindful of as we go forward. And I'll have some more specific detail to share with the board at the work session in May on that. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Forest Park, Green Hills, and Springfield Township for being so invitational for our girls varsity basketball team in the state championship. Acknowledging them as young ladies, but also as academic stalwarts, but also as the athletic champions that they were. We're just very fortunate to have municipal partners that are so invitational and supportive of our kids and our schools. And finally, Board, if I could, I'd like to read it, close by reading a letter that I'd like to send to the community. So I'm interested, Board, if you have any feedback. I'd like you to see a copy of this, so I'm going to pass it around. But it's about House Bill 96. It's about school funding. Mr. Seymour and I talked about this earlier today, collaborated around just the amounts and some of the language just to make sure. But this is a big deal for our community. I don't know that we can over-communicate this or overstate the importance that this has for many districts, but Winwood's for sure, it's important for us. So if I could, Board, 4 years ago, Ohio lawmakers introduced the Fair School Funding Plan, which was designed to phase in over 6 years and reach full implementation in the 26-27 state budget. This plan aims to provide districts with stable and predictable state revenue based on the actual cost of educating a child, the actual true cost of what it takes to educate a child. However, under House Bill 96, the recent budget proposal from House leadership significantly reduces the funding outlined in this plan, resulting in a $2.7 billion shortfall for Ohio school districts over the next 2 years. This reduction in state funding will shift more of the cost of educating our children to the local level and our community's constituents. This may also present the need for Wentwood City School District to consider asking voters to support an operating levy sooner rather than later. We don't know that for a fact, but it could. And so it's just something we want to be mindful of. Under the Fair School Funding Plan, Wentwood City Schools would receive approximately an additional $5 million over the next 2 years. The current House bill, however, allocates $2.6 million to the district during the same period. This represents a significant reduction in state funding for the district in the amount of $2.4 million, or a 48% reduction as compared to the initial plan. This discrepancy highlights the importance of advocating for adequate funding to meet the needs of our students. Statewide, Ohio House Bill 96 underfunds Ohio's kids by not providing the state funding schools need and deserve over the next 2 years. As many of you know, our school funding system in our state has been deemed unconstitutional by the Ohio Supreme Court on 3 separate occasions as being too reliant on local communities. This reduction in state funding represents a major step away from fairly and adequately funding education in our state. This just is a plea to please consider reaching out to your local legislators to ask them to support education and students in Ohio. A reference list of those legislators in our community appears below or on the reverse. And our students deserve this, and our community's voice matters. So, Board, if you have any feedback on this, please feel free to let me know. But I would like to push this out to people sometime this week.
I would say, Mr. Denny, thank you. I always feel like I say the same rhetoric about, making sure that people understand the right that they have to vote, because we put people in places. And one of the things that I know and I've seen and listening, reading, and always sending articles is that the move is to take money from public schools so they can fund them to charter schools that are really more like a private entity, or giving them to private school. I'm a product of public school. I'm a proud product of public school, and I believe in public education, or I wouldn't want to be here in this seat. I think whatever we can do to educate our communities, so they know that we want to educate your child and your children and your future generations the best way possible, but it takes money, and it shouldn't have to come from taking levies all the time. And what they're trying to do is really egregious. Then you want to mandate things in schools, yet you don't want to give us the money to do so. I don't know about you, but that's robbing Peter to pay Paul and beating up somebody else to get the money. So that's not how we can educate children. So thank you for this letter. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I like it. I think it's well written.
I do too. Thank you.
Appreciate that, yeah.
Thank you for being proactive.
Good summary.
Thank you for the feedback. If anything else comes to mind, feel free to let me know. But yeah, we'd like to push that out to our community this week, our parents, families.
Thank you, Mr. Denny.
Thank you.
All right, Board, moving on to 14.01. At this time, there is a need to move into executive session. Board, a motion is in order.
No offense, somebody wants to.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session to consider confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance and to negotiate with other political subdivisions respecting request for economic development assistance.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. We will now be headed into executive session. No actions will be taken, and we will not have any business to discuss after this meeting. So I will adjourn this public meeting, and the board will head to executive session where, once again, no actions will be taken.